Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we're going to be looking at the all-new Toyota Sequoia Limited with the TRD off-road package. Before getting into this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Brent Brown Toyota here in Orem, Utah for giving me some time with this Sequoia. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help whatsoever, just ask to work with Easton. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a twin-turbo 3.5-liter V6 that's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission and a hybrid system. Total system output is 437 horsepower and then 583 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 19 around town and then 22 on the highway. Before I go over the front end, I do want to mention if you see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting here with the hood, you guys can see it is flat there in the center and then raised on either side just like the Tundra. And then we do have our iForce Max badge. Coming down below, you guys can see the LED lights there, front and center. We do have parking sensors here at the bottom. We also have some like blacked out trim fog lights. You've got the blue Toyota logo to signify this is a hybrid with a camera there just down below the logo. And then the grille has a cool metallic gray paint. When you put it all together, I love the look of the new Sequoia, and I think it looks a little bit better than the new Tundra. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 265/70/18 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see the design with the wheel. You've got the silver there on the ring and then it's darker in the center. Now, part of this TRD off-road package is off-road tuned suspension with Bilstein shocks. This does have independent front suspension. And then you guys can see these tires a little bit more on the aggressive side. You also do get some skid plate protection underneath. And on top of that, to help out with off-roading, we have multi-link suspension in the rear with a solid rear axle. Now we have these cool gray metallic fender flares, and then you guys can see the splash guard. You got the Limited logo there with these off-road style TRD side steps. And then when you put it all together, the side view of this TRD off-road package Sequoia looks so cool. You guys can see the TRD off-road badge there off to the side. So here's our key fob for this TRD off-road Sequoia. You guys can see we've got our unlock function or lock function, and then this is the opening for the hatch. Not much happening on the back, but anyways, there you go. The back of the Sequoia is actually kind of funky. So you guys can see I've got the third row folded down, and there's actually this latch right here that I can use to basically pull it forwards or backwards. And I have this little platform placed where it makes so it's kind of a flat loading floor, but also like you have the two stacks. But then I can remove this whole thing, and then that's the actual loading floor underneath. So it's kind of an interesting situation back here. Now some other key features, we have this outlet here in the back, and then we've got these buttons right here, which will actually raise the third row up. You can also lower it down automatically. It's not the fastest, but you know what? It gets the job done. There you go. And then there's what the storage space looks like with the third row folded up, similar to like a Chevy Tahoe, for example. You've got this function to lock the rear and then also shut it, and then you've got that, well, it locks the whole vehicle. And then you have the other button which will just lower down the whole hatch. Now here's a closer look at that TRD off-road badge, and then down below you guys can see the taillights here with the Sequoia. Pretty cool look. And then we have like the Sequoia badge down below, again blue on the Toyota badge because this is a hybrid. There are parking sensors here at the bottom, and then it does have the cool feature where you can basically kick your foot underneath to open up the rear hatch. And you know, when you put it all together, I think the new Sequoia is very good looking. We have 1,360 pounds of payload capacity if you're wondering, and then about 9,000 pounds of towing capacity. So we have this sunshade here in the rear. You guys can see the padding there at the top and then down below. And then again, you got that utilitarian design that Toyota's kind of known for. Tons of storage here on the door panel though, which is really cool. And that handle feels sturdy. We have this magical latch that we're gonna pull. And yeah, it just like completely throws the seat forward. Now in the third row of the Sequoia, legroom is okay, but it's not quite as much as what you get in something like a Chevy Tahoe, for example. But I do have some cup holders right here. I've got this for like the seats, which is pretty cool. And then also this little button that I can use to recline the seat. And then more sunshade here. Headroom on the other hand is actually pretty good back here. And then the seats back here are pretty basic when it comes to the material and the design, which is pretty normal for a third row in a vehicle. Also, oh, I thought that might be soft touch, but it's not. But there's storage. Now this is something that I really appreciate. Getting this back into place, you can do it with one arm. So boom, and then boom, and you're all done. And then you guys can see the design here on the seat with that like military print look that Toyota is kind of now famous for. Now the second row on the other hand actually has quite a bit of leg room, and then you guys can see we've got some cup holders right here. We've got our own climate controls down below, and then we have a bunch of charging ports. Headroom's also good back here, and we also have vents throughout the ceiling here in the back. Now you probably can't see under this plastic wrapping very well, but this has the bench seat configuration. So we have 3 seats here in the center, we have 3 there in the back, and then we have 2 up front, so 8 total. Now here's the door panel on the front, you guys can see with the padding, and then down below, and then we've got all of our window controls right here, memory seat functionality, and then you've got the mirror adjustment here with the power folding mirror function, and we've got blind spot monitoring for the mirrors as well. Now the front seats of course have that same plastic covering, but you guys can see we've got that same military print theme. These are the exact same seats that are in the new Tundra. They also are power adjustable. So main controls here, that's to open up like the gas cap. You got your heated steering wheel control, you've got that for the outlet setup, and then the steering wheel itself, by the way, is manually adjustable. So here's a quick look at the steering wheel. You guys can see the trim there at the top and at the bottom, and it's perforated here on the side, which is pretty cool. And then you got some nice stitching around the airbag cover. We do have adaptive cruise control as well as lane keeping assist with this. We've got our volume voice command controls on the other side, and then controls for the center stack. Turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock. I almost forgot, we also have these cool upgraded pedals with this TRD off-road package. Full digital gauge cluster here with the Sequoia. You guys can see off to the side there, you can scroll through some different menus, see different bits of info on the vehicle, and then you got like all of your other auxiliary gauges, and I love it says iForce Max right there. It's pretty cool looking gauge cluster. Now we do have a ton of different drive modes. So first off, we have a normal, eco, and sport mode that we can go in, and notice it lets us know what's changing, and it's, well, with the powertrain. We also have a tow haul mode, which will pop up right there. Now we are in 4-wheel drive, which you have to be in 4-wheel drive to go through the multi-terrain select, but we have even more drive modes. We have an auto, dirt, sand, mud, and then deep snow, and I love the graphics they have for these different modes. Pretty cool. Now this happens to have a full 360 camera system, so you've got your backup camera with trajectory lines that turn at the steering wheel. You have that bird's eye view as well, and then you guys can see all of the other camera viewpoints here with this, and notice we can go to the side there with that as well, which is pretty cool. And then if we scroll that to the side, it pops on our off-road camera. It's freaking out because there's someone driving behind us in a Maverick, but notice it shows like the off-road information with that camera, and again you can just slide that over to change it back to the normal camera. So just overall, really cool camera system. As for the rest of the infotainment screen, we've got a shortcut bar here on the side. Response time with the screen is actually pretty solid overall. As you can see, I'm touching the different icons and pretty much get an instant response. I love how it's like low fuel, less than 1 mile of range, but there's the screen. Now we've got our analog controls for, well, the radio right here with our tuner control, but also the climate system. So you've got that rear climate system. You also have the dual zone up front, heated and cooled seats here for the front passengers, and a little USB port off to the side. So we have some toggle switches right here. This is for the camera system to turn it on. We got our stability control. That is for the hazard lights. And then you do have the locker for the rear. This does come with auto hold, and then it also has a parking brake. Now we have quite a bit happening here. You guys can see we've got some storage space right there. We have some cup holder action here. TRD shifter does have a manual shift function, so all I have to do is just put it over to the side and you can do that. And then we have our drive line select here. This does have 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low. And then over here we have our drive mode select if the camera wants to focus on it. We went over everything. This also does have the hill descent control / crawl control. We've got this massive center console, so you guys can see pretty easy with lifting up. You got some USBs, and then this does slide backwards and forwards, and nice padding. This has the same dash appearance as the Tundra, as you guys can see, so it has that like utilitarian appearance. And then we've got, well, a glove box, which is massive. So up top here, we've got some controls for the sunroof. This does have a full panoramic sunroof, as you guys can see. Ooh, look at the shade, open up. But yeah, nice feature, and that's the rest of the top. So here's a window sticker for this Sequoia. You guys can see 2023. And then here is all of the standard equipment with this new Sequoia. And I love how they just like detail everything. They're like multi-link rear suspension and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, base MSRP, $67,700. This has quite a few options. TRD off-road package. Get this package. $470. That is an absolute bargain for everything that you're getting. Get this package, get this package. Get this package. Anyways, after all options, $72,358 is the total MSRP, and Well, let's take it back to its parking space. Well, let's talk about visibility here. So you guys can see visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors, just like I said, do have blind spot monitoring. And then throughout the rest of the rear, it would be cool if this had that camera mirror that you can get. But, well, some toy does. But anyways, this is not going to be like a super official drive quite yet. I still have to wait until availability is a little bit better with these Sequoias before I'll have a chance to fully drive one. But I can at least kind of feel it there. So again, I know that's not the greatest. You know, actually, even though the parking space is right there, I kind of have to do a quick little circle here to find my parking space. Nothing to see here. So, yeah, the only difference I noticed with this iForce Max versus the regular twin turbo V6 is it just feels like a little bit more instant off the line. I just drove a Tundra with the regular V6 just before this, and you can't get the regular V6 if you guys are wondering in the Sequoia, only the iForce Max. Yeah, just a little bit less turbo lag. That's really the thing that I noticed is different. In terms of what I can at least feel so far with the driving, and like I said, I'll have a better review in the future, is this drives very similar to the Tundra. Like, it feels like the same exact vehicle, just slightly smaller, basically. So yeah, if you like how the new Tundra drives, then you're gonna like how the new Sequoia drives. Overall, I'm really impressed with this new Sequoia, frankly. I think this is gonna sell really well. It's expensive, that's for sure, but you know, it's pretty unique. There's not any other hybrid offerings for full-size SUVs. The closest thing you can get to this in terms of like efficiency, I guess, it would be, you know, something like the diesel Tahoe, for example. But diesel's really expensive right now, so it's kind of like a little bit of a toss-up right there. And I know some people will say, well, this isn't super efficient, but you know, it does a pretty good job. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this whole new Sequoia and the hybrid powertrain and all that, and that's all. That's gonna something's up with our video on this new Sequoia. Again, a huge shout out and thanks to the Brent Brown Toyota here in Orem, Utah for giving me some time with this Sequoia. Check out the info in the description down below. I'll see ya.